Hey everybody, welcome back to another Escape Room Reviews. I'm Brian.
I'm Zach.
And today we're going to talk about a escape room vacation we took in Orlando in May.
So we ended up doing 16 games in 3 days. We're not completely crazy though. We did do 1 day of amusement parks. I think it'd be a problem to go to Orlando and not do Universal or Disney. So we did Universal 1 day, but escape rooms all the others.
Yeah, all right, so the first thing I want to talk about is how we went about choosing the rooms. We really like the Morty app, and we also did, we do belong to a Facebook group of escape room enthusiasts, so we hear about the different recommendations there. But basically we went by the Morty app, mapped out all the places, looked for the ones that were highest rated, and then the whole family kind of took a vote on it. And we basically wanted to go to as few places as possible, but hit as many rooms as possible that were highly rated. So we end up putting it all on a spreadsheet, which you'll pull up there. You can see it lists the rooms, it lists where they're at, it lists the length, all the different times available, and we just kind of start going through and picking out the times. Make sure we leave some space for a lunch break or something like that. We end up calling this our Bible when we go somewhere and we take it with us. It's in our pocket, and it shows how long it's going to take from the hotel to get to the place, all that good stuff. Anyway, so we all hash this out and this becomes our Bible for the trip.
So after a very, very long flight from Nevada to Orlando, we chilled that night, but then the next day we wanted to take it easy to start. So we started with Doldrick's escape room, which is in Kissimmee, and they only had 4 games, so we did their 4. And they were really good. Captain Swoopy Bones was probably my favorite there. Well, that or Red Sled, which was their single room game. But it was really, really well done for a single room. Great set, great puzzles. Bomb Squad was awesome as well. The game show was kind of weak. Really felt like a throw-in.
I agree. Definitely the Ghoulish Graveyard game show was my least favorite. As far as my favorite goes, kind of a toss-up. Captain Spoopy Bones had some good puzzles to start. You start split, and you got to kind of work together to get reconnected in a room. I just didn't like some of the puzzles in the last space.
Yeah.
And that one kind of brought it down. But Red Sled Redemption, for being a single room experience, was phenomenal. It's a little weird to do a Christmas themed room in May, but I loved the puzzles, and I was sitting there smiling the whole time.
Yeah.
We just had a blast. I don't know, just talking about it now, I think I would rate that one the highest. Probably then Captain Spoopy Bones.
Then
Super Bomb Squad, think a laser maze and escape room combined. Really, really good. I think struggling on that first room.
We really struggled at the start, yeah.
Just kind of brought it down for me.
We also did just get back from lunch, which is something we noticed every time, is you take a lunch break and you come back and you're a little tired mentally. You gotta take a while to wake up.
Yeah, but no, Doldrick's was great. Overall, decent sized lobby, and I don't know, friendly employees. I don't think there were really any enthusiasts.
Agreed.
You didn't feel too special. I mean, we did all in 1 day, which usually, the employees are like, oh, that's cool, and they want to talk to you and everything. This, I think they were just kind of going about their jobs. But overall, really well done rooms. 3 of them were 60-minute, 1 was 75-minute.
Yeah,
prices were $37, $43. So on the lower side, in my opinion. Really well done. But highly recommend the place. If you're only gonna do one there, Spoopy Bones or Red Sled.
Spoopy Bones is the better set value. Red Sled's the better puzzle per hour value, because that one just keeps moving.
Agreed.
But I really liked Spoopy Bones. The separated start was great. The set design was great. The humor was great. And another fun thing is all of their games are ridiculously long with their names. It's actually Captain Spooey Bones and the Quest for Another Pirate's Treasure, and Red Sled Redemption at the Holly Jolly Holiday Hubcap Repair, etc.
Yeah, we shortened them on the spreadsheet.
Yes.
And shorten them when we talk about them too.
Yeah.
Anyway, highly recommended. It was a great way to start our trip. All right, so day 2 we actually did both Universal parks, which is a lot for a day, but pretty cool. My wife and I had done Universal Hollywood several times. Totally different vibe. Obviously there you've got the back lot tour, and the emphasis is on here's where the movies were done and here's the actual sets, whereas in Orlando they're theme parks. It's all about the rides. I would say the Harry Potter land, that's what I'm going to call it, was really cool.
It was. We didn't get to do Hagrid's.
Yeah, we had a couple of weather issues and rides going down and stuff, but we rode most of what we wanted to. Great parks, but anyway, again, we just did that so people wouldn't think we were nuts. So anyway, back to the escape rooms. Day 3 we went to Escape Ventures, and I think this is the place we were looking forward to the most.
Yeah.
They've got 5 rooms: Operation Arctic Storm, Final Meltdown, which we've already done a separate video on; Neighborhood Watcher, which we will do a video on; Bros for Life Fraternity Heist, which I think has just been traditionally their highest rated room. Yeah. I think everybody talks about that. Outage, No Vacancy, and the satirical Miracle Granny's Blackmail. So 4 of them are 60-minute, one's a 90-minute. You're looking at $39 a person, $58 a person, right in line with everything. Easy to find strip mall, lots of food options around, lots of parking. So if you're making it a full day like we did, cool, you can break for lunch. We had a great GM that greeted us, and was definitely an enthusiast, was hyped we were doing all the rooms, and then we had him for the first 3 rooms of the day, and then we went to lunch, and then he was going home for the day. So, but anyway, their big thing is having some sort of interaction with a live actor or GM in their rooms. And I know that's a turnoff for some people and a deal breaker, but it's not what you think. So Operation Arctic Storm, 90-minute room, we saw the GM or the actor 3 times for a total of 5-10 minutes, yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just in the room doing puzzles and everything.
Well, and he was exactly that. He was just the actor when he was in the room, which was nice, because now I've done other rooms where the actor is also the GM, and that just takes you out of it. So I'm glad he was just the actor. It made it easier to be with him.
Yeah. So Operation Arctic Storm overall, the set, amazing. Actually a temperature change in there, snows a little bit on you. As you move through the different spaces, it feels right. It flows nicely. Had some really good puzzles. It's a very physical room, lots of crawling, climbing. You have to descend down like a 45-degree ramp, so not handicap friendly, but the theme is family friendly. I think beginners would love it.
Oh, yeah.
Personally, it was my favorite there.
I think it was probably my favorite there as well. Neighborhood Watch was really close though. And that's another one where we had the same GM, awesome guy. We actually follow each other on Morty now. But Neighborhood Watch was probably my second favorite, almost favorite with Arctic.
I'm the same. It's close.
It's really close. The set was great in Neighborhood Watch. The premise in that one, like you said, we'll do a full video on it later. But the rough premise is you're a bunch of kids going to a slumber party, and the Neighborhood Watch guy, it's just creepy guy down the road, tells you, oh, it's over here, and so he plays this. I don't know what the right term is.
He's just creepy.
Yeah, he plays this pervert. And our GM played it really well. I mean, the whole coming in there well, hey kiddies, I brought you some more board games, and so he comes in from time to time, mostly as a jump scare. And that was a really good room, puzzle wise, set wise, scare wise.
So it was set with 80s decor,
Yeah.
the wood paneling, the old TV with the I don't know, Nintendo or whatever that hooked up and
Atari, I think it
everything.
was, yeah.
And then again, he got out of the way. He
Yeah.
progressed the story, maybe gave you a couple things to work on for your next puzzle or whatever, but then he got out of your way. This one, not so much family friendly.
No.
It's not a horror room or anything, but it's creepy. It's got a creepy vibe, but it was fun. I really enjoyed that one. Smaller space than Arctic Storm, but then again, it's a 60-minute room, not a 90-minute room, and I think a little older too. But
Yeah.
And then they had a really cool hint system.
Yeah.
When the GM wasn't the actor in the room progressing the story as the creepy guy, you conversed with the
kid next door.
The kid next door through a one of those old telephones with the two cups and the string, and kind of cool. It fit perfectly. So
And he would give you like little warnings of like, oh, I think Mr. Johnson or whatever is like back. I don't see him. You know.
Yeah. Next, Bros for Life Fraternity Heist.
Objectively
what,
great.
yes, if you just look at the set, really well done. Had some good puzzles.
Yeah.
This is one though where this particular GM did not consult with us ahead of time, did not know our style of preferred clues, and just forced clues on us. And unfortunately, it brought it down a notch. I mean, it's part of the experience. And so, yeah, I know it's a lot of people's favorite and it's really highly rated, but that brought it down for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth mentioning this was, you know, a different GM from the first one.
Yeah, I think he was running late to work. I mean,
think so.
It was a
Yeah.
quick handoff, and it could have gone better.
Yeah.
It's still a good room. I would still, as far as Morty goes,
Absolutely.
give it a thumbs up. Teeters on the heart, but I just couldn't do it. Not with the GM being a little overbearing.
Agreed. All the puzzles were totally on theme. You're, you know, trying to get into a fraternity, right? So you're like breaking into the campus and stealing an award or whatever.
And it felt like a college campus.
It did. Yeah, they did a great job of condensing like campus building into
small space.
yeah, 3 little rooms. Yeah, objectively great game. That's the one that like when I went back and talked to my boss, I was like, yeah, I played these games. He's like, which ones? And I said Bros for Life. He was like, oh yeah, I know that game.
Yeah, and it's been around a while, but
Yeah.
it's super highly rated. And go play it. Shame on us for really not hammering home before he started our style and that we preferred no clues and we will ask when we want them. Whereas the other GM asked immediately and honored that, and it was a great experience. So that was the only bummer on that.
Next was Outage No Vacancy. This was their dark room. It was all of our first dark room experiences. The first little bit you start in the light of this like really old creepy motel. And the clue system was cool in that one too. The GM, I mean the GM still just like yells out through the speaker, but in this case they had the speaker like in the air vent.
Or the air
upper vent.
ducts, yeah.
And he like yells out in character. He's got the like southern accent or whatever that he had on. As far as it being a dark room, obviously set wise, the first room was cool. The second room was just dark black. Yeah. Puzzle wise was cool. It was definitely unique. You know, a lot of things like you feel this is a different texture. These are different shapes. These buttons have different shapes. Follow the mazes on the wall.
Yeah, and you had to talk to each other and really work together, communicate well, because you're just going off of what you're feeling, but somebody else has to feel the same thing on a different wall and do levers and stuff. A 60-minute escape room to me was a bit much for this.
Especially 45 minutes in the dark.
When probably 45 minutes of it. I would thoroughly enjoy a darkroom experience as an add-on thing for any escape room place. Maybe you go play the room you scheduled, and then, hey, we've got this 15 or 20 minute or even 30 minute experience, pure darkness, where you're just solving puzzles. That I'm down for. It was a cool experience. I'm glad I did it, but Yeah, not a full escape room experience. It's a bit too much.
Yeah.
And then the last one we do was Satirical Miracle Granny's Blackmail. And I think that one gets the least amount of love at the place. And the GM who did it, it's her favorite. She was awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
And she even said that it didn't get a lot of love. And we really liked it. So and she was happy with that.
It was so underrated. It was so good.
It was really good. And we were just, again, another Christmas-themed one. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, everything flowed together nicely. There was tons to do. So we actually split up and we're working on completely different things the whole time. A little less of a live actor. I think you have to order out at one point, and the delivery person's your GM and in character and everything, and you do have to call for that, and another GM answers. So they do all that really well. They take care of the live actor aspect really well. But I liked it. I think it's probably their least loved room, but it was cool. And Arctic Storm was better, Neighborhood Watcher was better, Bros for Life, objectively looking at it, was better. But while you're there, hey, I certainly wouldn't pass on that one.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean the set was great. You start like outside in her little garden and stuff, which was fantastic. Like it felt like walking up her front porch. When you get inside, the house felt like a grandma's house.
Yeah, it was Christmas time at grandma's house for sure. And it had some really clever puzzles.
Yeah.
The whole pantry puzzle was really cool. And we won't go into any more, but don't pass on that one. That was a good time. So that was Escape Ventures, 5 of them in a day, and all really well done. Loved them all.
Yeah. So on the last day, we did Dare to Escape, which was another fantastic one. We originally only planned to do 6 of them. You can kind of see on the Bible. We originally weren't going to do the 7th room, which, believe it or not, was the 7th game they opened, because it was supposed to be scary, not like jump scare scary, it's supposed to be psychological horror scary, and my mom really doesn't do scary. But they convinced us when we got there. They really took care of us at Dare. Yeah. We played all their games and they gave us a free t-shirt, which is what I'm wearing.
The owner was there, greeted us, talked to us the whole time.
Our first GM was a huge enthusiast and loves enthusiasts.
And I'll say, while we were there was a marriage proposal.
Yeah.
And they actually helped design an extra puzzle to put in the room that the ring was in and all that good stuff. The grandma was there and got to watch from the GM booth. Everybody just was very friendly. We had a great time all day there.
Yeah. The first game we did in the day was The Asylum, which was their earliest game. It was the first one they opened with. And it showed, it was probably my least favorite there, I think. Yeah, it was my least favorite of theirs. But it was still really good. It's your fairly standard, asylum horror, creepy, haunted, whatever. It definitely felt a little Gen 1-y, and the owner was saying that they were going to be remodeling it and stuff soon.
Yeah, that's right.
New puzzles, new set, all that stuff, which I'm sure that'll be great, because their other games, especially 7th Room, their newest one, was incredible.
Yeah. And I will say, so we only had the 6 booked. They convinced us to do the 7th one. They said only one of you needs to, grow a sack and volunteer, and I did. And so they actually rearranged the rooms for us on the fly, and made it so we still had a lunch break. I think Olive Garden or whatever was right next door, so we didn't need as much time as we had allotted anyway. So they were really cool to revamp that. But anyway, I would say Asylum was probably my second least favorite. Still good, and I will say there were some jump scares in there. Again, knowing my wife didn't like horror or whatever, they reduced that a little bit. So if you're ever in doubt of those, just ask. They'll adjust the amount of scares for you. What did we do next? I don't even remember. Paper Company. So that is kind of an homage to The Office. It's only a 45-minute room, single room experience. But it was cool. It was fun, actually. It was a lot of fun. If you're a fan of the show, a lot of little Easter eggs in there. But I don't think you had to be a fan of the show to enjoy that.
No.
Nothing spectacular, but overall a good experience. It was fun.
No, it was a good fun room. And that one's only $28. The rest of theirs are 34, 36, 39-ish, depending on time length and stuff. After Paper Company, we did Ice Cream Shop. No, we didn't, because they changed our schedule. After Paper Company, I don't remember what we did next, so we're just going to go down the list. Ringmaster. This was actually one of my favorites. It was definitely one of their older rooms.
It was my wife's least favorite.
Yeah.
For me, it fell somewhere in the middle. So
yeah, in the starting area, it was pretty linear. It's kind of small. So at the start, it was like, whatever, and the set wasn't anything remarkable. But once you get into the second space, it just becomes a pure non-linear puzzle fest, which I loved. We were able to like split up. There was probably a good, 10, 12 puzzles just in there.
We were all working on different things.
Which I love. I mean, I like non-linear rooms, and I like when non-linear rooms are clearly A goes with B, even though, they're all the way across the room. You know it goes where, and they did a great job at that.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Set was nothing spectacular.
It wasn't bad.
But I'm more about the puzzles anyway. I enjoyed the puzzles. I had a good time in that room. Again, not spectacular, middle of the pack for me. Pretty high up for him and low for my wife. All right, so at the Hop Ice Cream Shop was actually the one we ended the night with. And by the way, I would not recommend anybody do 7 rooms in a day, especially when 2 of them are even over 60. 3 of them are over 60 minutes.
Yeah.
They have a 75-minute, 90-minute, and 105-minute. We were there before any of the employees or the owner, and we were probably, almost the last ones out of the building at night. And so, there was shift change in the middle of that, and they're saying goodnight and had goodbye and had fun, and we were just exhausted by the end. So at the Hop Ice Cream Shop, overall, good set, had some good puzzles. We were just tired. So, we did ask for a couple of hints in this room. And, one of them was they told us, and it was like, oh, that was such a clever puzzle.
Yeah.
But we missed it, which makes me feel bad. The only thing I will say, I'll throw this in here now. Dare to Escape's gimmick, if you will, is every single one of their rooms has a story that's intertwined. When you start out in the asylum, it's somebody that had to go in the that was committed and blah 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 blah. Anyway, they're all kind of intertwined. I don't care too much about the story anyway, and in this case, especially at the Hop Ice Cream Shop, in my experience, it hurt it a little bit. Only because it was set in the 50s, and that's not when the rest of it was set. And so, with that, this doesn't spoil any puzzles or anything, but the jukebox apparently is a time machine.
And sentient.
And that just... So, if they didn't have that and each room was standalone, it would have been better, and it was a cool ice cream shop themed one. Sure, great. For me... kind of middle of the pack, maybe a little more.
Really? I think it's like my second place overall. I think 7th, Ice Cream Shop, and then Ringmaster is my top 3 there.
Yeah, so, a smaller space, a decent set, some good puzzles, though. You liked the puzzles, too.
And like Arctic Storm, they also had that, like, refrigeration, temperature change.
Yeah, there was some temperature change and things like that activated different things, so...
I really liked that game. I think it had great, like, 50s feel, like you said, like the Letterman jackets and stuff like that.
And there were some little fun hints at Back to the Future, basically.
Yes.
Again, with the time machine, they tied that in a little bit, so...
As far as the interconnected story goes, it didn't hurt anything for me. I think for me, I was middle. It kind of hurt things for you, and then for Mom, she actually thinks that was better, like, connecting them together. And, either way, the rooms are great on their own if you ignore the story.
Yeah.
If you connect the story, the rooms don't change that much.
They don't. I just felt it was a stretch and why bother?
Yeah.
Sort of thing, but...
Another game we did was the video store, Be Kind Rewind. That was set in what, the 80s?
Yeah, oh yeah. And,
Yeah.
and this is one that my wife and I loved the nostalgia in it, and some of the technology he was unfamiliar with.
Blockbuster closed like 5 years after I was born. All right, sue me. I don't know how to use a videotape like remover.
But actually, this was a very difficult
It
room.
was so tough.
This was a small space, a little bigger than the At the Hop Ice Cream Shop, a 2-space experience. But yeah, it was tough. There were
tough.
some very difficult puzzles. I was really surprised. But the nostalgia factor, the set was great. I mean, you felt like you were in a video store for sure. And yeah, it talked about there were movie posters on the wall that you had to use and rearrange videos. And I mean, all sorts of fun stuff like that. And then it brought in the whole Clue.
Yeah, they had you play
game.
Clue because of the movie, and
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I don't know where that ranks. I didn't rank these, to be honest. But anyway,
That's probably my 4th place. So, The Archive. This was actually our second game we played with them. 90 minutes long. And this was probably my top 4. I know it was, I think, your least favorite, right? Set-wise, phenomenal. I mean, the set was awesome. You start in the sewer.
Set was cool.
And they did such a good job with the sewer. And then you get into, like, the actual archive of it. And it felt like a rich person's archive.
We missed some search puzzle
we
things
failed
to start. So we started off slow, and then it was very linear. And even with just 3 of us, a lot of times I had nothing to do. So that's where it fell a little short for me. But yeah, the set was amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The GM ended up giving us 3 extra minutes. He tried to deny it at first, but as a GM, I'm used to that. No, you guys did great. Yeah, you got on perfectly. But again, I think if we hadn't search failed at the start, it would have been fine. And I think part of the reason we search failed for so long is the GM did respect our request to wait until we asked for the most part, which is always
our own detriment.
Always
but
our
that's
own
okay.
detriment. Yeah. All of their games on the topic of clues work off of the screen. They have a screen in the room with their timer and the clues on it, which is, it's nothing outrageous, but at least it's not a walkie-talkie. Yeah, no, puzzle-wise, it had some good stuff. Nothing, like, remarkable, but there was a good amount of, teamwork puzzles, yelling across rooms, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just fell a little short for me. But so 7th room, the one we weren't going to do initially, the one they convinced us to do, said it was their best room. Yeah, it's their best room. So this one's not family friendly. This one's a little scary. They even make you come up with a safe word. The person that has to go into isolation. So somebody's got to go into isolation. About 3/4 of the way through.
5-10 minutes.
It's for 5-10 minutes. Pitch black. Whatever. I had to go in there, do something to let the other 2 progress in the story. Then they had to solve a puzzle and let me out. Well, I could hear them, but they were not focusing on that. And I was ready to get out of there.
There were other puzzles to do.
But
it was non-linear.
Yeah, so this one, crawling, climbing, scooching with dead bodies, coffins. Yeah, not family friendly at all. But by far, their best room. Absolutely. And I'm about puzzles, but I'm saying it's the best because of the set and just the flow of the different spaces. Phenomenal. It just blew my mind. But
and for being a 1-story space, they sure make you think it's 2 stories.
Yeah.
And they use that space really well.
Yeah, they did.
The set was phenomenal. Every single space was well done. Puzzle-wise, a lot of it kind of went with that psychological horror they were mentioning. It makes you face your fears, stare death in the eye and don't blink. Nothing stand out dish as like
No, nothing.
nothing I remember as like, God, that was a cool
Not one
puzzle.
puzzle that was like, wow, that was amazing. But good overall, good flow.
Yeah.
And just the set. Here the set was the standout thing. So if you're considering doing an escape room vacation, Orlando is a great place to go.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think Orlando, LA, 13th Gate, obviously is called out a lot too. But Orlando was fantastic. I really like these places. And there's some theme parks there too, if you want to mix it up a little bit and do something different. All right, so what was your favorite place?
I think my favorite place was Escape Ventures. I think as far as pure quality to quantity goes, I think Escape Ventures did the best. Dare was definitely a close second. I think like Seventh Room competes just fine with the rest of Escape Ventures, and so do some of the other games, despite being a little less like high tech or set wise. That's no knock on Doldrick's. They're probably my third place. They were also the one we knocked out first because I think we kind of assumed they were.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, they only have 4 rooms currently, supposedly one coming, but GMs at the other place said that forever, so who knows. But I think Doldrick's, I had 2 that I really loved, one I liked, and one that just fell short.
Well, and it also had to do with the GMs. I mean, like, Ventures and Dare really made us, like, feel like they appreciated us being there.
Yeah. I mean, Dare was just, I think, as far as hospitality and talking to the owner and all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Them rearranging the schedule, saying, really, you've got to do this last room, throwing in T-shirts for everybody and all that stuff. It was a great experience and a standout room and several really good rooms.
Yeah.
The Escape Ventures, though, if you're going to go to one place, that's where I would go personally. Just 3 amazing rooms and then a really good room and then one that was okay for me. But
For Ventures?
Yeah, outage, no vacancy. So have you guys, I assume if you live there, you've done them, but a lot of people go there to vacation too. So which of these places have you gone to? Which do you recommend? What's your favorite room? Least favorite room? Were we off base with some of our stuff? Let us know.
Have we missed any in the Orlando area? I mean, I know there's the pins and needles or whatever in Clearwater, which is really good. Which
we didn't get that.
To,
we didn't get there. Yeah. We stayed right around Orlando and Kissimmee. So anyway, let us know if we missed anything. Let us know what you think about this format. Obviously, it was a little change up for us, but I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Hopefully you guys did too, and we'll see you guys next time.